It was very dry, which means nothing was happening. It was waiting, and being patient. And that can be very, very frustrating for anybody. Today I want to talk about the times where I was in a dry and weary land. I was in a dry place for a very long time, something that I think a lot of you can relate to. Now, these videos are very real, and they're going to help a lot of people. I'm sure of it. Now, what do I mean by dry and weary land? Well, usually there's nothing going on in your life, and you want things to happen, and they're not happening the way you want them to happen, and there's usually a reason for that. For me, I was fighting God for years. I wanted things my way, on my terms, by myself, when I wanted them to happen. And if you're in that situation right now, and you're in a dry and weary land, it's called being in the wilderness. Let me give you a couple examples. Moses was in a dry and wilderness, dry and weary place. When he left Egypt and went out and became a shepherd. He was out there for quite a long time. And then God called him to be basically a leader. During that time, God was getting him prepared, maturing him, and most likely dropping his pride and humbling him, getting him ready to do what he wanted to do. If you are in a dry and weary place in your life right now, as I was for practically 7 to 10 years, I can relate and I understand your frustration. And boy, was I frustrated the whole time. Now, there were times when I went into the dry and weary land of my life. It was very dry, which means nothing was happening. It was waiting, and being patient. And that can be very, very frustrating for anybody, ADD or not, ADHD or not. I'm just talking to a regular person right now. If you are in the dry and weary place where nothing is happening and you're trying to do things on your own, in your own flesh, and you're not getting anywhere, the motors are turning in the head, but you're not going anywhere down the road, I'm talking to you. I was that person for over 10 years. So let me talk to you about this. There were times where I would go into the wilderness, and I was in the wilderness for 2 years, maybe 3 years. God would pull me out of the wilderness, test me to see how mature and how ready I am. If I was still complaining, I was still whining and crying, I'm not getting what I want when I want it, he would pull me out of that and put me back in the wilderness to mature just a little longer. A couple years would go by, nothing is happening. I don't feel creative, and I'm trying to start projects, but nothing is working. Okay? He pulled me out of the wilderness again and tested me. Okay, how are you going to react to this, and this? More complaining, more griping, more whining. Okay, I'm going to pull you back out, put you back into the wilderness. 5 to 7 times he's done that. It's like putting metal into a furnace and it gets heated up, and it's soft. So God's doing this to me, to metal. Bang, 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 bang. He's softening out those ridges. Those really fine, sharp edges. Bang, bang, bang. Okay. I had a lot of rust on me. I had a lot of self. I was self-absorbed. Me, myself, and I. It's all about me. But it wasn't about me. He isn't going to give you and him the glory. He's only going to get the glory out of this. If you are a very self-centered individual and you want to do things that God put in your heart, you are going to go through the wilderness of the dry places and the dry times. 100% guaranteed. He is not going to share the glory with you or me or anybody else. He's going to get it because, let me tell you something, he's going to want to do the impossible with you, as he's been doing the impossible with me. Do you think sitting here making videos, having a tendency of having ADHD, dyslexia, spelling problems, grammar problems, speech problems, and he made a video company from a seed that he planted in my heart when I was 17. That's impossible. Why would he use me to do that? Why would he use you to do that? Because he wants to. He wants to do the impossible in your life. That's why he made you in the first place. That's why he made me. He wants to do the impossible so he gets the glory. A man can't do, a man or woman can't do impossible things. Only God can do impossible things. That is a fact. Now, you can debate that on me, and I'm not going to go any further with that. So, in the dry and weary lands, in our spiritual walk, he wants us to be ready for the world, because what's in the world? Lots and lots of evil, lots and lots of backstabbing, lots and lots of gossiping, because to be honest with you, people don't like it when you succeed. They don't like it because they want what I have and they want what you have. That's very plain and simple, and that's truthful. People don't want to rejoice over your success. Only your closest friends and family members will, because they know the battles that you and I have had to go through. Other people, oh, I'm so glad, so happy for you. Oh, good for you. Well, what about me? What about me? What about me? Being honest, I was that person. When somebody else was blessed with a new car, a house, multiple trips to different countries that I have never been to, I was absolutely jealous of them. I was envy of them. Must be nice to make $100,000, $200,000, $14 million in a year. Must be nice. Can't you give some of that to me? Can't I have some? Why would they? They worked hard for that and they sacrificed for that. So think about that. The next time you get upset at somebody that has more money than you, has more success than you, they had to work very, very hard to get where they are. And it never comes overnight. That's a guarantee. I had to work for probably about 25 to 30 years to get where I'm at. And I'm still going. I haven't achieved what I believe God put in my heart, but I'm still going and I'm still growing every single day. It's impossible what he put in my lap. Absolutely impossible. For you, you can have the same thing if you want it, but you have to be prepared to go through the weary, dry times in life. You have to be ready and willing to go through the tests. And boy, have I been tested a whole lot. I've gone through the tests and I've gone through the trials of life, and I'm still going through them every day. The enemy just wants to pound you down to the ground so you'll never get up and you'll quit. And you know that you're not a quitter. I'm not a quitter. So I don't want this to be very, very long. But for those of you who have something special hidden in your heart that hasn't come to pass yet, keep pushing forward. Don't quit, because he gave that extra special gift to you that nobody else has. Only you do. And he wants to see you blessed. But you have to be ready. You have to be ready to go out into the wilderness of this world and take the hits and the punches. I like to go back to Rocky. He was a nobody from Philly. Yes, it's a movie, but he was a nobody from Philly. One of my favorite movies. Nobody that took the belt. Okay? He had to work hard in every movie. Even the last one, or I should say number 4. Fighting, the giant. Are you fighting a giant in your life? Is there a Goliath in your life, like there is for mine? It's impossible, you say. Okay, it's impossible. Nothing's impossible for God. So why are you stuck? If you release yourself from where you're at and you give it all to him and you stop saying me, him, things will turn around. If you start listening to the Lord and stop listening to yourself and the greed and the selfishness that's in your heart and give it over to him, he will bless you with the things on your heart. But he has to be sure he can trust you with those big responsibilities that he's going to give you. You have to release it all. You have to give it all to him. Everything. So I hope I encouraged you today on getting through those dry and weary times of your life. And then when the times of waterfalls come, you'll be so blessed because it'll flow. The creativity will flow. The creativity will flow. And you'll be so blessed when you give it all to him. Everything will work out to his glory and his honor and his riches to give to you. You'll be totally surprised. So God bless. I hope I gave you some encouragement and something to think about. And I'll get to you on the next video. Bye-bye.